Why do chess players push up pawns in front of their king? And I got a simple game. We got Thor Kled against Peter Noring. And this game was back in 1959. And yes, for short, I'm gonna be naming the white player Thor. And yes, we're technically on Thor's side, so hey, we're part of the Avengers, baby. Let's get into the game right quick. And the game started off with the move, of course, e4 and e5. Let's start. Forgot to erase this crap from the last video, but anyway, the game continued with knight c3, knight c6, and nothing really amazing happened in like the next 15 moves. But anyway, we got bishop e2, knight f6, and then we got the move d3. After the move d3, we got bishop e7, knight f3, and then after knight f3, we got the move d5, attack in the center. What are we supposed to do about that? Well, Thor just took the pawn on d5. Knight takes on d5. And after knight takes on d5, we got bishop d2, kingside castle. Normal developing moves following normal principles. And then we got kingside castle. And then black does the move f5, very aggressive, and I like it. And I know we're supposed to be on Thor's side, which is the white pieces, but in this exact position, especially white's next move, rook e1, you can tell that there is no space at all. So right now, we're actually minus space, pawn structure the same, center control not the same. I would argue that black has more center control than white does. Development in time, I would argue that black has more development than white does, and I would even argue that these pieces are even developed. That's a bad type of structure to be in. King safety clearly equal, and then material clearly equal. So we have a bad setup, a bad start as the Thor pieces. But why am I going over this game if we're not supposed to develop like this, if we're not supposed to play exactly like this player? Well, there's some little gold nuggets we can take from games. We don't have to take everything from this game, but when it comes to push to shove, or I don't even know if that's the saying or not, but you're gonna see something really wild. And I'm never gonna know how to describe the pain that seeps in my heart after our opponent does the move, all right? After Thor played rook e1, bishop e6, still a perfect opening by black. I would rather play the black side. Bishop f1, bishop f6, still really good. Black has a smidgen of advantage. g3, then things started going wrong after Peter played the move g5. Super inaccuracy. And by the computer standards, the small advantage was for black, and then after this move, the small advantage became the white pieces. Why did that happen? Well, when you do a move like g5, there's so many weaknesses that you just made for the black pieces. Not only these weaknesses, these weak squares right here, the h6 and h5 square, but now you just made a target for the black pieces. I mean, you just made a target for yourself. White is already attacking that square twice. What do I mean? Is this really a big deal? Well, white was good with just going bishop g2 because there's nothing really else to do. And then black had to do h6, another pawn move. There's more weaknesses now. There's too much air around the king for comfort. But he didn't care. He didn't care about this perfect position that he had with f5, bishop e6, bishop f6. I hate when positions ruin. They become ruined because of the player's moves. And after the move h6, this is why this is bad. Because a lot of tactics are brewing after the move g5 and h6 was played, especially this tactic, knight takes on e5. After knight takes on e5, you're probably wondering, okay, this is the only piece defending this knight. This knight is attacking this knight on e5, and this bishop is attacking this knight on e5 too. What's wrong with just taking this knight with our bishop? What's wrong with that? Like, tell me what is wrong with that if you're Peter and your opponent just gave you a knight for a pawn. Thor, he became powerful at this moment and realized, I have a lot of tactics in this moment. I can't play openings, so I'm tactical, and you gave me an opportunity, especially after doing the moves G5, H6, and now I can do the move D4 exclamation mark. After the move D4, bishop takes, rook takes on E6. The move that was played, double blunder, knight takes on D4. Now, rook takes on E5, since now the knight isn't protecting the bishop on the E5 square. And this rook is putting pressure on this bishop and knight at the same time too. And his opponent did another mistake by doing the move knight b4, trying to attack, trying to be ultra aggressive and showing white, hey, I'm trying to attack. My pieces aren't coordinated, but I'm trying to attack. I'm trying to scare you. I'm the big bad wolf, and I'm trying to blow your house down. But guess what? You're the pig with the brick house. So what happens is, now I have so many tactics, you can't even deal with it. And Thor played the move knight to b5. After the move knight to b5 was played, if knight takes, rook takes on e6, or bishop takes on b4, even better, because after bishop takes on b4, you're attacking the rook on the f8 square. Peter played the move knight b takes on c2, not helping at all, because after rook takes on e6, it's basically game over. Like, there was a better move, and the better move was knight takes on d4, but no, we're just gonna do a simple move. Thor was like, hey, this is the variation that I've seen first. This is what we're going to do. So after rook takes on e6, Peter is like, I'm still trying to be aggressive. I'm still trying to overwhelm you. I don't believe that I have a bad position right now. And look what we're taking advantage of here. All this space, all these pieces dissipated in the center, and now it is white to move, and you have all the initiative in the world to do so. What are you doing in this position? You have the whole 6th rank to yourself as the rook. You have moves like queen h5 now, bishop d5 in the future, knight takes on c7 in the future, knight takes on d4 in the future, bishop sacrifice on g5. There's so many things that you can do. So the move that white did, or Thor did, was rook g6. Why not? Why not check the king? Why not check the king? If the king moves on the h file, then after queen h5, you might as well just call it done, because there's going to be checkmate of brewing in like the next few moves. So he went to king f7, and queen h5 works on all accounts, because after queen h5, now I have all the discovered checks in the whole world, and now black is trying to bring these pieces back to defend the king after pushing up all these pawns. It's over. Rook takes on h6. Check. After rook takes on h6, king e7. Then we got the move rook h7, knight g7, trying to defend. Rook takes on g7. After rook takes on g7, king e6, queen e2, checking the king. And in this position, Peter resigned. Why did Peter resign? Well, he probably resigned because there's checkmate in 2 after he does the move king f6, bishop c3, queen d4, bishop takes on d4. That just hit my head, but bishop takes on d4, checkmate. This is checkmate because the rook is taking care of the 7th rank, the bishop is attacking the king, the queen is taking care of the e file, the king cannot go to the g file either because of this rook, and this rook is protected by this bishop. So that's why the king cannot take the rook. And this is checkmate. So Peter's position could have been perfect, right? And you already know the title of the video. Why do chess players push pawns in front of their king? If he would have never pushed up that G pawn and that H pawn, he would have had a really good position to beat Thor out of all people. Thor. But he didn't. And that's not what happened. And so instead of black taking care of his position that he had more space and center control. White counterattacked with his pieces that wasn't really an active squares at all and checkmated the king like this. Just imagine, the pieces were so passive and they was able to checkmate the king like this. That's how dangerous it is to push pawns in front of your king. Now, disclaimer, I'm not saying to never push pawns in front of your king. Don't push pawns in front of your king, especially if you're in an open position where the center can be cracked into this. There are positions where you can push pawns in front of your king. You gotta learn all the principles, but not here, not at all, not when tactics are brewing. Think carefully before you push pawns, because guess what? They can't move back.